team with one of Jarod's boys. That is the Milwaukee Bucks. They are the favorites in this game. -7. They are in New Orleans to battle the Pelicans. Over under in this game is 230. Jarod, I'm going to start with you because the real MVP in Milwaukee, is trying to win 3 in a row, but we know the narrative is not going to let that happen. We know that's not going to happen at all whatsoever. The Bucks in this game, I think you and I have been on the same page with this. Bucks are underwhelming. Giannis has been underwhelming. We don't know how they're going to score in crunch time. The Pelicans, that is what Jamal's kind of squad in a way here.
I'm about to leave them.
What do you say, Murph?
I'm about to leave them.
You're about to leave them? I don't blame you. You got to fly away, man. You got to fly away. They have been absolutely disappointing. There's a lot of talk about Lonzo Ball on the trade block. We will get into that in the weeks down the road. Who do you like in this matchup? Is this one are you taking the Bucks? Is this one you got to take the Bucks here, or is this another stay away?
So what's interesting, right? We've been talking about the Bucks and have they been disappointing or whatnot. Yeah, Giannis has been a little, not his normal like back-to-back MVP self. We can talk about that another time. But what the Bucks are is number 1 in net rating, and they're starting to find their rhythm again. And the Pels have been a disaster on defense lately. 24th in defensive rating, and they're 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. So you know what that means? Bucks all the way heavy, and this is easy -7. Hit the Bucks, bang the over. Love it.
Love it. All right, Murph. You've been dealing with some pain with the Pelicans. They've not been good to you. Are you going to show some love tonight with the money?
Yeah, this was kind of a stay away for me too, but I'm with Jarod, though. If I had to pick, I would take the Bucks -7 here. The Pels have just been terrible. For the most part since the beginning of the season. They have a non-shooting backcourt. Bledsoe and Adams have hurt them offensively. Lonzo hasn't been good. It's really just been Ingram and Zion, and Ingram being the only shooting threat they have on the floor, and he's not even really a pure shooter. He's a scorer. So just imagine that, in 2021, you have a starting 5 where you have one shooter, and he's not even a real shooter. He's a scorer, okay? but he's the only one who, when he takes a shot from beyond the 3-point arc on the whole starting 5, that you can feel somewhat, confident that the ball's going to go in. So they have a lot of problems. The game is starting to look like the offensive game is starting to look like it may have passed Stan Van Gundy by. I love Stan Van as a person. I love his social justice remarks and all that. But I love basketball also. So I just got to be real, Stan. You're not getting it done, Stan. You can't have a backcourt of Lonzo Ball and Bledsoe in 2021.
Murph
is so bad.
You're asking me about the game.
Clip that shit.
I did. But Murph, can I ask you another question here? Because
yes, please.
When you talked about the lack of shooting on the Pelicans, which is what I think anybody looking to bet this game is going to, maybe if they want to stay away from the Pelicans, that's going to be a factor. It made me think, who's got worse shooting in their starting 5, the Pelicans or the Knicks?
Ooh. Who are the Knicks guards? Are they starting Bullock still?
Bullock's hurt.
Bullock's hurt. So it's been Burks. Burks has been starting at the 3.
Burks is a better shooter than anybody on
that is true.
In New Orleans starting 5.
That is true.
Yeah.
Even with New Orleans, and RJ in the backcourt, it's still better than New Orleans.
And New Orleans ain't getting great shooting off the bench. JJ has not been good this season.
And Redick hasn't been good. Yeah. Redick hasn't been good. So yeah, I mean, give me Milwaukee if I have to pick Milwaukee. Like you said, they haven't been playing great. Giannis has, people are getting on Giannis this year. He's actually been playing a lot worse than he's not as good as he has been the past couple of years.
No, yes.
I think all that talk about him not being able to get it done in the playoffs has affected him. You could tell he has less confidence now. We saw that in the beginning of the season when he missed that free throw at the end of the game. Looked like he had no confidence. So he needs to turn off the TV, stop listening to people like on ESPN, wherever. Don't turn on this program. Because we're all. You just got to get your act together. It's okay. Just at least get back to your previous 2-year level, and you'll be all right. But still, as a team, like Jarod said, they've still been taking care of business for the most part. So I think they're just way better team in New Orleans right now. So I could easily see them covering that -7.
Number one in net rating. I mean, net rating is always an indicator of how good a team's playing.
That is a great point too. Here from my man Omar. Whenever there's talk about the worst shooting team, always pick the Knicks. Yeah, maybe not in this case. The Pelicans might actually be worse. They actually might be worse. Brian, are you going to shock us all? Just be angry with that Jarod energy that we saw earlier in this show and pick the Pelicans here? Are you as upset that their offense is setting basketball back?
So if I'm being honest, I thought it was weird that they hired Stan Van Gundy to begin with. And I like Murph, really like Stan Van Gundy, just didn't really quite see wait, Stan Van Gundy, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram. First of all, the fit itself between Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, I'm still trying to figure out where is that going to go necessarily, right? You see it work sometimes, both dudes could pass or whatever, but I'm also seeing Brandon Ingram's usage rate go down a little bit. He has some games where he's only taking 14 or 16 shots when he's somebody who should clearly be 20 plus or in that range at least. And that's not to say Zion should be shooting less because he's fucking Zion. So it's what is the sort of fit there? And then having Steven Adams as the center, it just makes it even more weird because Steven Adams is only going to be in one place on offense and only really going to be on one place on defense. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And to put Stan Van Gundy there, who isn't necessarily forward looking as it pertains to NBA coaching, it was just questionable from the jump, to me at least, and I don't really know what direction they're going to go. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year, and that's something that probably I would have said before the season. I don't remember where I was at with that, but it doesn't matter. And the Milwaukee Bucks, conversely, the Milwaukee Bucks are a regular season ass team. That's what I like to call them. And they're a team that's just going to overperform in the regular season, though they're only 11-6 now. They're a team that's going to overperform in the regular season, and then we'll see what happens in the playoffs because we know what happens in the playoffs with Giannis, which is what Jarod was sort of hinting at earlier. And I just want to point out, as it relates to the Eastern Conference in general, the Milwaukee Bucks, as good as they've been playing so far, net rating and all that advanced analytics stuff and whatever, they're only 11-6, and the best. There's not a lot of separation in the NBA so far yet. You could say it's because of COVID, because of this, because of that. But there are a lot of teams that are still in it. And in New Orleans' case, I'm not saying they're out of it or anything like that, but it's just going to be clunky, I think, all season long. And they're also not getting enough out of Lonzo Ball, JJ Redick, Eric Bledsoe, and some of the guys that you mentioned. So as it relates to this game in particular, I'm taking the Bucks. And I'm probably staying off the Pelicans or staying away from picking the Pelicans in most games outside of Minnesota and stuff like that.
Damn. Sounds like the Pelicans are done here on this show. All right. Moving along.
They still got Zion and Ingram.
Right. Well, in terms of picking them as a team, let me say that.
They just hired the wrong guy. And I like Stan, though.
Yeah. That is one of
I actually thought Stan at the time, I thought it was higher because they were so terrible defensively last season that he would bring defense and they do play better defense than they did last season. But their offense, which was top 5 last season, is now bottom 10 at least. It might be worse now. So I mean, it's clear that Stan is not, he doesn't really know what he's doing offensively, and that will hurt a guy like Lonzo, who actually needs a coach to use him correctly for him to be effective at all.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Agreed. And we'll have more on that. Lonzo looking like a trade candidate. JJ Redick also looking like very much a trade candidate. We'll have our eye on that over the next couple of weeks. We'll definitely be talking about odds on that. Bucks Pelicans, that is the first ESPN game of the night at 7:30. The last game we're going to talk about